Hello guys and welcome to another Tokyo Revengers video. And in this video, I will be talking about the newest episode of Tokyo Revengers. And this video will be an anime review for episode 30 of Tokyo Revengers, and this is the 6th episode of the second season. And this episode covers chapters 92, 93, 94, and 95 of the Tokyo Revengers manga. And this episode is the 5th episode of the Black Dragons arc. In this video series, I will also be comparing the anime to the manga, and I will analyze these episodes to see if there were any scenes that were removed from the source material. And in this episode we will finally get to see the beginning of the Christmas conflict, and this episode also shows us the beginning of this new gang war. And I really loved the snowy atmosphere of this episode, and I thought that the snow made a very good background for this episode. And this episode also had many great added scenes that were never in the manga, and we actually got to see a backstory of Baji and Shifuyu, and this backstory was never in the manga. And many fans were very happy about this added backstory, and this backstory was meant to show us a deeper look into Baji's relationship with Shifuyu. Anyway guys, before I get into this video guys, please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Tokyo Revengers videos. So let's get into the video now. So this episode starts off by showing us that Hakai is wearing the Black Dragon uniform, and Hakai said that he is ready. And then we see that Hakai said that he will settle everything once and for all. And then we see that Hakai suddenly made a very determined facial expression, and then he declared that he will destroy Taiju. And then the next scene shows us all the members of the Black Dragons gang. And we also see that Taiju Shiba is standing with Koko and Inupi. And Inupi said that him and Koko will be in charge of the Black Dragon gang for today. And then the anime added a scene where Koko and Inupi were bowing down to Taiju, and they said that they will start leaving. And Taiju replied to this by saying, yeah. And then the next scene shows us Yuzuha, and she is watching TV. And Yuzuha said that she wishes that everything will disappear. And then Yuzuha suddenly got a phone call, and this scene is foreshadowing that Kisaki is going to call Yuzuha to tell her that Hakai is planning to kill Taiju. And then the episode switches to Koko and Inupi, and Koko said that they are going to be busy today. And Inupi asked Koko what he wants to do. And Koko just replied to this by saying that he will obviously stick with Inupi. And Inupi asked Koko if he is keeping his promise, however Koko just responded to this by saying that he forgot all about that. Anyway guys, the next part of this episode shows us an added backstory of Baji and Shifuyu, and this backstory was never in the manga. And at the beginning of this backstory we see that Shifuyu is fighting with the other members of the first division of Toman. And then we see that Baji suddenly arrived on the scene, and then Baji decided to confront Shifuyu. And then Baji punished Shifuyu by repeatedly punching him in the face. And the reason why Baji was punching Shifuyu is because infighting is forbidden between Toman members, and so because of this rule, Baji was forced to reprimand Shifuyu. And this scene was showing us how the internal disputes are handled in the Tokyo Manji gang, and this scene also shows us that this is how the Toman captains punish their subordinates. And then the next part of this backstory shows us Baji having a conversation with Shifuyu, and Baji told him not to cause trouble in the division, and Baji also told him that he's not all alone anymore. And Shifuyu responded to this by saying that he only joined Toman because he respects Baji. And then Baji asked Shifuyu if he respects the other members, and Shifuyu responded to this by saying no. And then we see that Baji started smiling, and he told Shifuyu that he should only follow him, and Baji also told Shifuyu to stick by his side. And then we see that Shifuyu started smiling, and he just said, yes sir. Anyway guys, this is where the backstory ends, and then the episode shows us that the next scene switches to Takemichi, and he is saying that today is the day of the big battle, and he also said that he will defeat the Black Dragons. And then Shifuyu approached Takemichi, and then Shifuyu started bowing down to Takemichi. And Shifuyu said that he spent his life hating and hurting others, and the person who changed that was named Keisuke Baji. And he said that Baji was a great man who rushed straight ahead through every obstacle, and then he gave Takemichi Baji's sash. And this moment is showing us that Shifuyu is passing the torch to Takemichi, and Shifuyu is also acknowledging that Takemichi is someone who is worthy of following. And we see that Takemichi put on the sash, and then he said that he will accept the baton. And then Takemichi declared that he would live true to his ideals. And Chifuyu asked Takemichi if he is all warmed up. And in the manga we saw that Chifuyu was not smiling during this scene, however in the anime he was smiling. And then Takemichi went to meet up with Kisaki and Hanma, and in this moment Takemichi thought to himself that he can't ask anyone else for help. And then in the next scene we get to see that this new alliance is marching into battle together, and in this moment Takemichi was thinking to himself that the four of them are the only people who can fight this battle. And then the anime shows us a beautiful shot of the church, and Takemichi said that this is the place. And Kisaki told everyone to stick with the plan, and Takemichi agreed to this. And then Chifuyu told Takemichi that he is counting on him to persuade Hakai. And Takemichi said that he has got this. And in the next scene we see that Takemichi started entering the church, and after entering the church Takemichi encountered Hakai. And Hakai was very surprised to see Takemichi, and he asked him what he is doing here. Anyway guys, this is where chapter 92 ends, and chapter 93 begins with Takemichi saying that he knew that Hakai would be here. And Hakai asked Takemichi what is going on. And then Takemichi told Hakai that he came here to stop him. And Hakai said that he didn't tell Takemichi about his plan because he wanted him to stop him. And then Hakai said that the reason why he told him about this was to strengthen his resolve, and he also said that he will kill him if he gets in his way. And then Takemichi started trying to convince Hakai to not kill Taiju, however Hakai got very angry, and he said that Takemichi knows nothing. And then Hakai told Takemichi about the domestic violence that he has experienced while living in the Shiba household, and he also told Takemichi that he can't stop him from carrying out his mission. And then Takemichi started telling Hakai that he broke up with Hinata, and he said that he did it to protect her. And Takemichi said that he is a weak gutless idiot, but despite this Hinata still loved him anyway. And then Takemichi said that he would do anything to protect Hinata. However, despite this, Takemichi says that he will never kill someone because that would make Hinata sad. And then Takemichi started screaming out into the air, and he asked Hakai if this is going to make Yuzuha happy. And then Takemichi asked Hakai if Yuzuha would be sad if he became a murderer, and in this moment Takemichi was crying. And in this scene Hakai had a very stressful look on his face. And then in the next scene we see that Taiju Shiba suddenly entered the church, and in this moment Taiju was saying a prayer. And then we got to see a close-up shot of Taiju's face, and in this moment he looked like he was very angry, and Taiju just said, "Amen." And in this moment Takemichi started wondering why Taiju is here. And then Taiju just said, "Amen." And then Taiju just said, "What the hell are you two bastards doing here?" And then Hakai started screaming out into the air, and he was also charging at Taiju at the same exact time. And in this scene we can also see that Hakai was holding a knife, and Takemichi was telling Hakai to stop. Anyway guys, this is where chapter 93 ends, and chapter 94 begins with showing us Kisaki and Hanma, and we see that Hanma just got done fighting against Chifuyu. And Hanma said that Chifuyu put up a good fight. And in this moment we can see that Chifuyu is all tied up, and his mouth is covered by a gag. And Hanma started smiling at Chifuyu, and then Hanma told him not to interfere in a fight between brothers. And then the next scene shows us a close-up shot of Chifuyu's face, and he is staring at Kisaki. And then the anime added a scene that was never in the manga, and in this scene Hanma is telling Kisaki that the Hanma's team is done for. And Kisaki just responded to this by saying, "So we were called the Hanmas." And this was a very funny addition to the anime, and this scene was actually a reference to the last episode when Hanma was trying to come up with a name for their team. And then Hanma and Kisaki started walking away, and Hanma was asking Kisaki why they worked with them if the plan was to screw them over. And Kisaki just responded to this by saying, "Because it's fun." And then Kisaki said that they couldn't do anything about it, and while he was saying this he had a very evil smile on his face. And then we see that Hanma reacted to this by bursting out laughing, and he thought that this was very amusing. And Hanma told Kisaki that he is the best, and he also said that Kisaki is the only person who can entertain him. And then the next part of this episode shows us that Taiju is choking Hakai, and Taiju is saying that he got his hopes up that Hakai would actually try to kill him. And then he told Hakai that this is hard on him too, and he also said that Hakai has let him down once again. And Taiju said that if Hakai was serious, then he should have snuck up quietly and stabbed him from behind. And then in the next scene Takemichi started yelling at Taiju, and he told him to stop choking Hakai. And then Taiju reacted to this by turning around to face Takemichi, and then he said that this is the second time that he has interfered in the Shiba family's business. And then Taiju squared up to Takemichi, and this moment is showing us that Taiju is way taller than Takemichi. And Taiju told Hakai that his back is wide open. And then Taiju decided to punch Takemichi in the face, and this punch sent him flying to the ground. And Taiju said that this time he punched Takemichi with 50% of his power. And Takemichi thought to himself that this is the most powerful punch that he has ever taken. And he also thought to himself that Taiju is going to kill him. And we see that Taiju started talking to Hakai, and he asked him if he is going to save Takemichi. And then Taiju started choking Takemichi, and in this moment Taiju asked Takemichi if he knows why Hakai wants to kill him. And Takemichi said that it is because he is abusing Yuzuwa. And Taiju just responded to this by laughing in a maniacal fashion. And then Taiju asked Hakai if he heard that, and he also asked Hakai if he should reveal his secret. And Taiju told Takemichi that Hakai is not the type of person that he thinks he is. And then Hakai suddenly yelled the words, "Stop it," and in this moment Takemichi realized that Yuzuwa is approaching Taiju, and he just said Yuzuwa's name. And in this moment Yuzuwa snuck up behind Taiju, and she stabbed him in the back with a knife. And in this moment Hakai fell down to his knees. Anyway guys, this is where chapter 94 ends, and chapter 95 begins with showing us that Taiju is turned around, and he is looking at Yuzuwa. And then Taiju punched Yuzuwa in the face, and this punch sent her flying to the ground. And we see that the knife is still stuck inside Taiju's back. And Taiju said that Yuzuwa is a bitch, and he also said that she really messed up this time. And in this moment Taiju lifted up a church bench with only one arm, and he threw this bench at Yuzuwa. And in this moment we see the reaction of Yuzuwa, Takemichi, and Hakai, and they all look very scared. And we also see that Taiju looks like he is extremely angry, and he is glaring at Yuzuwa. And Hakai asked Yuzuwa why she is here. And Yuzuwa responded to this by saying that she came to save Hakai, and she also said that she is going to put an end to all of this. And then Hakai called Takemichi a bastard, and he got mad at him for telling Yuzuwa to come here. However, Yuzuwa said that Hakai is wrong, and she said that Takemichi didn't tell her anything. And then Yuzuwa said that Kisaki is actually the person who told her about this. And in this moment Takemichi suddenly realized that Kisaki instigated Yuzuwa to kill Taiju, and he also realized that Yuzuwa is actually the person who killed Taiju in the future timeline. And then we see that Taiju took off his jacket, and in this scene we get to see the giant cross tattoo on his back. And the reason why Taiju has this tattoo is because he is a very religious Catholic, and I am very glad that the anime didn't remove this tattoo. And then we see that Taiju told Yuzuwa that she messed up, and he said that he was able to dodge the knife because of Takemichi's warning. And then Taiju told Yuzuwa that she should hate Takemichi. And then Taiju said that this is very sad, and Taiju said that Hakai and Yuzuwa tried to kill their own blood-related brother. And he said that they tried to kill their own brother who slaved down to the bone for them. And Yuzuwa responded to this by saying that Taiju was wrong, and she said that he did that all for himself, and she said that he doesn't give a damn about them. And Yuzuwa just called Taiju a demon, and she said that he used words like family in order to manipulate them. And we see that Taiju responded to this by immediately punching Yuzuwa in the face, and we see that this punch sent Yuzuwa flying through the air. And then Yuzuwa's body crashed into the wall, and in this moment Hakai started screaming out for his sister. And in this moment Taiju started talking to God, and he asked God why he always has to put him through these ordeals. And then he asked God why he must kill his own blood-related sister. Anyway guys, this is where chapter 95 ends, and this is also where this episode ends. And this is the end of this video. Anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, and want to see more like it, then like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.